Okay, so I'm gonna have to go get on YouTube and look for my own stream to make sure that there's volume in this motherfucker because I was just streaming through the service and I've been using that same service for the last of the few streams I did, and they ain't did nothing like that yet. So I'm gonna have to go in and check on it and see what the settings are. Let me ask you guys right here, sound. You know what I mean? Because that's why I switched, because they said there was no sound. So let me go back and repeat everything that I said. First and foremost, there is a misunderstanding or a misleading in the ideologies and the minds of the people that have allowed them to be misled. Let me just say it like this. I'm not sure what 400 years is because I haven't lived 400 years, right? In the book of Enoch, it tells us that there's 364 days in every year. There's 364 stations in the heavens. Okay. 364 on the western side and 364 on the eastern side. Point is this. There is a concept of days. And the days in the book of Enoch, and I have to really do break this down real quick. The days in the book of Enoch are described in parts, not hours. Okay. So if there's 18 parts to a day, that's roughly an hour and like 15 minutes or something like that. For each part, hour and 13 minutes, it's something like that. The reason why that is all skewed is because you can't monitor a moment and tell me that these things that you call a second actually monitor time. That's not a true measurement for time. The reason why the days were measured in parts was because the sun would be out for so long and then the moon would be out for so long. All right. So if you have 18 parts in a day, all right, and the 18 parts, and they says that the day has 6 parts and the night has 12 in a 24-hour period. Okay. How many days actually go by in that 24-hour period? How many times do you actually see the sun? I really wish that people would understand, you know. One second. Can you hear me? Because this is why I moved. This is why I switched, and this is weird. Like, I don't understand why my shit's not making a fucking sound if it's not. But anyhow, your Israelite pimps were all wrong. Okay? Your GOCC, your ISUPK, your IUIC, all of them wrong. Every last one of them. Dead wrong. And there's going to be a lot of people who lose faith after this year because they're going to say that the 400-year prophecy is not real. I appreciate you, Dark Child. For that, you get modded, even if I never see you again. Bang. Because I wouldn't have known had you not said anything, and I could have been talking like that for an hour. See, I want you to understand how epic what you did was for me. And I started late, which I shouldn't have, and I apologize for that. But when I say I greatly appreciate that, man, I greatly appreciate it because there's no way for me to know. You know, you mute your stuff, and then you know what I'm saying. So there's no playback, there's no feedback or anything like that. So there's no way you can know. Totally appreciate it. However, I'm not going to be able to screen share on this. What I will do though, when I come across the links that I want, I'm going to share all the links, and I'll read the articles as I find appropriate. I might not read anything. I might just talk, because Do I feel good about this? Yes, I do. Good brother of mine, Andre Wickham, he knows I cannot stand these Israelite dudes. I hate them. And I don't mean I hate Israelites or the actual seed of Israel. No. What I hate is these guys who go around here, and I'm talking about, listen, y'all, for years they pumped everyone's head up. For years and years and years. And now even they are let down because they're realizing that the 400 years that they were told, well, if you were here in 1619, dog, it's been 400 years. January 1st, in this month, well, June actually, they claim it was in June of 1619 that the first slave was ever sold or purchased. Uh, so with that said, if your first slave is purchased and sold in June of 1619, one can surmise that in June of 2019, that was 400 years. What I'm trying to say is this, and I know it sounds silly. Unless you actually follow days by the way that is written down in the book of Enoch, your reckoning for time will never be proper, because if there's only 6 parts to a day and 12 parts to a night, the 24-hour cycle doesn't service, listen to me, it doesn't service the sunlight. Word? And it doesn't service all the darkness. Can you dig it? So every time you go into another 24-hour cycle, and let's say the sun hasn't risen yet, but you're in a new day technically of your calendar, right? You're skipping days or missing them. My point is this, black men and black women. They've reckoned the time horribly. They don't know what day it is. They couldn't even tell you. How about that? See, I know they can't tell you what day it is, because if they knew what day it was, your 400-year Odyssey, let me tell you something about white people, just in case y'all didn't know this. Before they admit they're wrong, they will get rid of all the evidence. So before they would have admitted that you were the children, before they admit that you are the children of the Most High, they will try to kill all of our black asses. Can you dig that? Before there's a healthy contingent of white men and women who say that they are indeed the children of Abraham, they will murder you off this earth. Tom Brady they alleged that he knew that footballs were flattened. The man destroyed his cell phone. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because that was nothing. That wasn't life-changing. That wasn't time altering. That wasn't any of that. And yet the man felt the need, you understand? The need he felt to go out of his way to make sure that he protected himself. So if you think that if you believe that these people are any different and would not go to the same lengths to protect themselves and all the wrongdoing that they have committed, you're greatly mistaken. When I say you're greatly mistaken, you're greatly mistaken. They'll kill you right now. As I speak as I do this, they will barge in here and let 1,000 bullet barrage go on my black ass and kill me dead, murder me dead right now. If it means that they don't have to admit anything. They're willing to stand and listen. These people, these things, these Gentiles are willing to brave judgment. Okay? Think about how epic that is. They're willing to brave judgment as opposed to admitting who you are. As opposed to saying, I know for a fact that without you black people, without you brown-skinned people, light brown to dark brown to light brown, okay? And even some of you afro-headed, white-skinned looking ones that come out every once in a while. They don't want to say, yeah, you guys are really the people. Without y'all, we wouldn't have shit. That's the truth, y'all. That's the truth. A part of them admitting that you're the child of Abraham means that they would have to admit that, yes, when those slave owners were laying with women that were other men's wives, that yes, they were, in fact, acting out what the scripture said would happen. Yes, when those black men built those houses that they didn't live in, that yes, they in fact were living out what the scripture had written down. When they would take a man's family and separate him from his children, knowing this man has no power. Yes, they knew what they were doing and they knew exactly what they were dealing with. But for them to tell your black ass that I knew this whole time who you were, you're sadly mistaken. It's not that they care that you know that they're fucked up. They care that you don't know to speak on it. So like, if they know we're fucked up, that's one thing. But if they already don't know, then let's keep them in the dark. How many black people do you know live on the very words of white people? I know a bunch like that. I know a bunch of black people right now who get a government check and claim because they worked at one point in their life that they deserve that. Let me break it down to y'all black asses one more time. Social Security, built on slavery. These banks, built on slavery. Every fucking business that America has ever had any touch on, built on slavery. Okay? I don't want to hear that shit. We've been here for 400 fucking years, or going on 400 years. That's why I keep saying we have to get into next year and really see what happens. If we've been here for 400 years and the days have been reckoned improperly, man, we could be a few years out from the real 400-year mark. That's the part you have to get to really accepting. That's the part that you have to see for what it is. You might be here for another 5 or 6 years, 7 years. Are you ready for that? 8 years. The scariest part would be as if the 400-year trial was already up and they found a way. Come on. But that would make the Most High God a liar, wouldn't it? God forbid. Yah forbid. The Most High forbid. Blessed be his holy name. He forbid that. So if that's the case, I have only one option to believe, that because time has been so improperly reckoned, that we have to wait for the signs of the time to know that the 400-year tribulation is about to be up. Now I told y'all, when Mexico, China, Russia, and whoever south of the border is pushing up to this joint, the cyber attack happens that knocks down all the systems. And then all the people who are here, who are going to finally have a chance to choose their home and native land over America, that's going to be the day. Until no other time, don't worry about it. You heard it from me first. Not any of them, not any of these jokers. I told you first, right out of these lips. We have time to wait. And until the broad walls of Babylon are about to come down, and until its high gates are about to burn in fire, the people toil in fire in vain. Can you dig it? We're not there yet. Do these people know that the scripture has written down that in the day that we leave this land, Even the lame being people who cannot walk, even the lame will have much loot. So the atmosphere for that must be that people are able to help one another and to account for the lame's loot all at once while being rescued. Come on now, let's keep it real. See, I may never have what they have on this planet. I've surrendered those desires because they will do nothing for me. I pray that my people will one day see that they don't love you. Your cyber pimps, okay, and your cyber panderers don't love you. I love you with all my heart and all my soul. I really do. Black people, I love you guys so much. You guys don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to tell anybody what I know about the scripture. I can keep it all to myself. Let me break something down to y'all. It's gonna be deep. Did you know the real reason why they did that attack, that so-called attack on the joint out there in Jersey, and had the black dude who was supposed to have been connected with the Hebrew Israelites? The reason why for that is because most of the Hebrew Israelite groups are funded by Jews. Now, most guys don't know that, but the first Hebrew Israelite group, see, this is, let me break this down to you. The Nation of Islam, the Hebrew Israelites, and the rapture doctrine all originated around the same time. You can go back in history and look at it. And I'm talking about like their prominence, okay? There's people who can tell you about the early 30s and 40s in New York about Hebrew Israelites. Black men gilded with beards and afros and locks, telling the people who they were. But how long can a man do that until he's worn out? How long can a man do that until he falters and sins and falls away from the Most High God? These are legitimate questions to ask. The Most High God has been so good to me. Let me tell you how good he's been to me. He's been so good to me that tomorrow I'm going to go sit down with the lady and see about taking courses to become a bona fide real estate agent. He's been so good to me that he allowed me to be fired from a job to allow that to happen for me. And I'm already working again. Don't worry. But that's how the Most High God works. And he works like that so that way we're not afraid. Can't be afraid of the moment. You have to continue to live your life until we get to the end. Did you hear me? At 18 minutes and 35 seconds in, you must continue to live your life. You can't not live your life. You must. If you don't, you will lose. And this is a fact. And then you will question the Most High God's righteousness. In all, our last time checking in like this is our last ever weekly update. We will never do another one of these ever again. I might do live streams for sure, but they're probably going to be biblically related. I don't even care about this anymore, y'all. I stopped caring after the young lady at Tatiana Jefferson was murdered, and I spoke on the cartel, and then all kinds of crazy things happened with the cartel, and then I just stopped talking. I said, I don't need to say anything else. I don't need to say anything else. Because I don't want this government to feel like I've got an inside track with somebody, because I don't. I don't want you guys. I am holding back. I do hold back. I won't lie. I do withhold from you. to the degree that there's things that you guys just don't want to hear. You know, if you still believe the earth is round, then you still believe that the moon and the sun are millions of miles apart. You feel what I'm saying? Perfectly distanced from one another. That's what you believe. If you believe that. But if you believe like I believe, that the earth is leveled with dilapidation, let the sun and the moon both are the same size, save the fact that the sun is 7 times brighter than the moon. Now, where'd that number come from? Not 10 times, not 1,000 times, not 100 times, not even just 2 times, 7 times brighter than the moon. So the Most High God obviously knows his science to know that this is the proper level of luminosity to emit to the planet to produce the heat that is required for life to live, but also so that way the herbs of the field and the fruit of the tree shall grow, and also to punish man in his wickedness. Can you dig that? It's not just to reward him or to be a neutral factor, a neutrality. Same with the moon. When she is full, her light is so helpful. People don't even know that the moon has healing properties to it, which is why people go and moon bathe. But we're not going to talk about that because this is our last go around. And I want them to understand that I know so much more than I could ever say in one conversation. I've been antiquated to the lowest titles in the world as far as job occupations, outside of shit shoveler, because I never did that for too long. But I've been just a hot dog man, and just a dishwasher, and just a line cook, just a warehouse body. Come on, been all that and more. I would rather them antiquate me to such things than to actually say who it is that I could truly really be, because that would make them terrified in the reality of the existence that we live in. I have no need to lie to you. It will profit me none to tell you a lie. Might detriment me because I've wasted valuable energy to lie to you, my precious life force energy. And I've wasted yours in the same if I've done that. The sun and the moon are the same size, save that the sun is 7 times brighter. Hallelujah to the Most High God. And I tell you this, I say this to you, I don't tell you anything. Can't tell you a damn thing. I can speak words, but you don't have to listen. I say this. As this year gets ready to end, officially be over, y'all do realize where we're at, right? We're at a very sensitive junction. See, because there's going to be so many people who fall by the wayside next year, there could be a record number of people who are affiliated with religious groups who find themselves in trouble. A lot of these guys, there's a lot of brothers who are looking for positivity in these negative places. But one person does something extremely negative, and there's the feeling and the need to reciprocate their evil deed only upon them. And because others will not see that they committed wickedness in order for this to happen, these deeds continue to carry out, and they perpetuate, and they're continued. and they live on. Therefore, the avenger of blood never ceases, and the shedding of blood and such, and inasmuch, will never cease. You see, I attempt to speak with as much sense and as much reason as I possibly can. It doesn't mean that people are going to listen to me. It doesn't mean that they're going to give me their ear, but it does mean that I used all the sense and reason that I could use at that time. And if I'm being unreasonable and I'm acting senseless, then surely there must be a reason for such. I haven't done that on my own volition to just be obnoxious. It's asinine and that's absurd. However, there's a reason why I show you my face. There's a reason why I want you to see who I am. That's important. That matters. I'm not your leader. I'm just a guy who happens to say things that changes everything all the time. If I just really cared to prove it, I could really show you that, like how I've literally influenced the entire landscape on Black YouTube. I'm talking about like specific things in Black YouTube, and then in the smaller but general broader landscape of YouTube itself. It's amazing when you get to see your work play out and your ideas come to fullness with other people, and you would have never had an idea that they got a whiff of the information that you put out into the world, into what they call the universe. I say this to you right now. Be mindful of April. April will be mindful of April. Mind the Ides of March, but be ever more mindful of April. I have to tell you this. If in the first month, if the true first month is April, the 14th day, April 14th, is the day that the Most High God delivered Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, the children of Israel. The Most High God has picked the first month as and it's not just it's picked and it's chosen. It's everything. It really is. There's no way for me to really put it other than to say that we're attempting to understand what has never been understood by modern men ever. And I have taken a stance all by myself, alone, one man, to attempt to understand the scripture as it stands and to relay the information that it can be perceived and understood in the manner in which it was intended to be seen and understood. I have here, this is a Scofield Reference Bible. This is the very book that Catholics, priests, that pastors of all denomination, from Episcopalian to the evangelicals, okay? The information in this book, I can contradict much of it, which is the side notes of the author. The reason why it can be contradicted is because the author himself, much like another individual who we'll speak on in a moment, before he comes into this revelation, and I need you to understand who he's most like. He's a con man. His name is Cyrus Scofield. And Cyrus Scofield made the world to believe, made the white man to believe during a time of eugenics, okay? And gene superiority, inferiority, posterity, and things like that. he made the world to feel, the white man, that he would be absolved of his sins and then treated even greater for what he had done. Good afternoon, Tammy. How you doing, sister? Um, and this man, Cyrus Schofield, he goes on in his journey and he convinces these people to believe that there is what's the word I'm looking for? There is a happening that would take place or will take place where in which all the chosen people of the Most High God will be brought up, 144,000, they say. Now, why this is so abominable is because the people who were in power were told that you were in power because of manifest destiny. And your manifest destiny has allowed you to be in a superior position. Therefore, God has chosen you. And if we were to go based on something like that, they believe that the 1% of the people, listen to me now, the 1% of the world at that time, listen to me now, hear me now, no one's ever, the 1% of the world at that time, they were telling, we're going to be brought up to the heavens. Now, Cyrus Schofield isn't the only guilty party in this. There's another man by the name of Fard Muhammad, or Wally Ford, or Wally Fard. And he is the arguable biological father of one Louis Walcott, aka Louis Farrakhan. And what Fard Muhammad is guilty of, not only of incepting his wicked, despicable seed into the genetics of our people, and who knows how many women, he's guilty of committing the acts of high treason against the Most High God. His act, telling the people that they were something that they were not. His actions, beyond such, to get them to hurt and harm one another who would not believe what he said. And he too was a con man who spent time in prison. The Most High God has no man likened to that who has ever performed righteousness. The New Testimony speaks on a man, Saul of Tarsus, who becomes Paul later. I should say Paul, because they call him Shaul. So I guess his name was Paul, right? However, this man, in all his wickedness, questioned the godliness, the overall righteous nature of the Most High, and is the only force in the scripture to ever do so. The man admits that he is from the seed of the Pharisees, the Hasidian people, the people who are never written about in the Old Testament, who are only made known in the book of the Maccabees. And in one instance, they are known as a warlike people who would not suffer peace in their region. And to this very day, they do not suffer peace in their region. Thank you very much. This is a fact. And these are the people, hold on, who sent not only of their genetic seed stock, one Fard Muhammad, to disrupt and play a monkey wrench into the lives of Black people, but also funded this sick idea of what people call white supremacy through the actionable cause of one Cyrus Schofield. Thank you very much. See, it's so funny that people don't actually want to stand back and look at it and see it for what it is. It is one giant mess. But at the bottom of that mess, at the core of that mess, are the same parties. I don't have to blame anyone. This is what it is. There are a contingent of people who look just like you and I, believe that or not, who have been in on it the entire time. This is why the white man's hard nature to you is so consistent, because the hardness of those lions, hyenas, dogs, wolves, and tigers that they must deal with. They said, I know what you're capable of because I have dealt with people and they are capable, and what they're capable of, you have no idea. The worst of the heathen. Did the Most High God say the most evil of the nations? No, he did not. Why verify something like that to the people who will not believe his prophets? So why would he tell them? Why would he have told us such a thing? Make no sense. The God of hosts has chosen his people to do a righteous thing, to separate themselves. And what have these wicked heathens done? And the evil nations among the people who were chose? Not only have they turned their back and put their nose up to the Most High God, but they have sought to make him a liar. That is their mission. That is their mission. There is no other mission. There is no greater a thing. Cannot kill the Most High. You cannot destroy him. But to attempt to make him dishonest would be the greatest thing you could do. Yes, it would. And their attempt this year, come on now, follow me. I said all that to have to say this. And their attempt this year to make the Most High God a liar, the Most High God forbid, because he already said in this book, the book of Enoch, that they have not reckoned time properly. I'm trying to break it down to you so you understand it. Can you feel me? Because I'm telling y'all, I might be all by myself on this little island, but I know the Most High God gave me what he gave me for a reason. And what I just explained to you in uniform fashion, I hope it truly makes sense to you now. The reason why this 400-year odyssey is not over is because they have not reckoned time properly. Wow. And before you say something silly like that's a what do you call it? Literary tool or whatever, right? You know what I mean? To pretty much confuse us into believing this. If that was the case, there'd have been no need to separate the book of Enoch from the scripture in the first place. The book of Enoch is scripture. There would have been no need to take scripture from scripture and then separate it. Why not just have the book of the Genesis, the book of the Exodus, the book of Leviticus, the book of Deuteronomy, the book of the Judges? Why not? Do you understand? Because it is imperative. It is imperative you understand that there is no greater thing than this. I cannot explain something to you on this level and not want you to get it. You have to get it. They sought this year to make the Most High God a liar. Right. Do you understand what I'm saying now? But that's not their weapon, to make them a liar, but that was just a way to get more souls confused and out of the way. And I can guarantee this video won't get very many views. So I can guarantee all the people who lost faith and hope will never hear the reasoning that might give them hope. You see how that works? Because the wicked devises wicked devices. I really do laugh about how all these things work out. It's a beautiful cycle for me. I just watch it all and I just say, you know what? I don't know everything, but I know a lot of things that other people don't know. And I see these things play out right before my very eyes. And the more that I'm correct, the more that I believe that it is that it has nothing to do with me. For whatever reason, called out of this world to do something that no man, I don't think, has ever done in modern times, which is to explain the scripture. And I've done so well that people have been able to copy what I've said. I'm talking about on massive channels. I won't even say their names, massive channels, and take my information and put it abroad. They've said so many things that they've put forth so many of the same things that I've said and changed it to their chagrin, as I expect. Doesn't matter because I know where you got that from. The God on high will never, ever be able to vindicate me to the eyes of these men. But when I die and he judges my soul, I pray that he looks back on moments like these where at least he had the sense and the wherewithal to give what it is that was not his in the first place. If everyone knew everything, there would be no need for me to say what I'm saying because everyone would know it. But I'm coming to the level of reasoning where I can act as if everyone already knows it. And they can be disgusted or hateful or angry. But the truth of the matter is that I deserve that much. When I say deserve, I've earned my ability with all the information that I've put forth to not have to say very much anymore. They don't believe me, they don't believe me. At this point, I don't care. The reason why I haven't put another spiritual gumbo out just yet is because I wanted everyone to really see that Abraham pimped out his sister. But regardless what you want to say, regardless what you want to feel, regardless what you want to think, that's what happened. He came up off of her. Boom. She couldn't get pregnant. And I'm going to give you a little preview into the mind of a woman. If she was with this man, enjoyed herself or not with this man, would she not feel like I kind of owe him one? Right. Because who was Abraham with that entire time? People are like, yo, he could have been with the servant. Don't start talking stupid. He married his sister off to another man. Men and women have sex. So his sister couldn't get pregnant. So I could talk about epigenetics on so many different levels. If he wasn't a true thoroughbred by the book Egyptian, or if he was an Egyptian who was into all sorts of witchcraft and sorcery, changed his physical appearance. It's so deep, y'all. It's so deep, and I really don't have the time to explain all that. Just don't. I could explain it, but I don't have the time to say it for someone to think in their head that, first off, it's amazing to me that a person who never perceived the thought ever in their life thinks that all of a sudden they have the audacity to disagree, but you never even thought on this fucking wavelength. That's disrespectful. However, the fact that they feel that way makes it possible for me to not speak on these things. I don't have to talk about that to anybody. I know what I know for a fact. So when people talk about what they think they know, I know what I know, okay? Because if you're talking about science, I'm one of the coldest scientists you ever met. And if you went right now, and let me put my beer down. If you went right now and you asked 100 people who went to school with me about me, I guarantee 50 of them, if not 60, 70 of them, will tell you that's the smartest dude I ever met. Smartest dude I went to school with. He was a little angry or whatever. But that's the smartest dude easily one of the smartest people I ever met. They'll tell you that right now. I have no need to lie or brag about this. This is the true life of Demetrius Antoine Jones. I just so happened to end up here. I'm my own doctor. I'm my own lawyer. I'm my own dentist. I'm my own all that. I don't depend on these people for anything. Even when it's really serious, I'm the type of guy who thinks that I really do believe I can stitch myself back together. I know I can. Because if I know, I'll know it's not right once I do it. You can feel it in your flesh if something's proper or improper. Come on, painful or not. When healing takes place and it starts to take place, it feels right. You can feel when something's not going to heal right because it's been placed somewhere it's not supposed to be. Come on, say that. You guys know I saved my uncle's life a few days ago. It was crazy. I just so happened to be there on Christmas, whatever they call that day. And I was supposed to have came over the day before, but I just chose not to. And then when I got to getting up to going over there, it was all a matter of timing because I want you to understand this. Like the timing of it was extremely crazy. I went to go see my father. Well, I was with him for about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. Then I go down to go see my Uncle Don. And I kick it with him for a second. We're hanging out. And all of a sudden, I see him doing this thing he was doing in the hospital. And I know signs of neurology. I understand. I didn't even know he was taking a neuropathic medication, just to go ahead and give you guys a little forward information. Didn't even know this. But I know I understand things. I really do. I mean, way more than I could ever tell you. I really get it. Super deep. It's crazy. And I'm watching it happen. And I'm watching it. And I watch him belch up and vomit. He gets up with it, and then he sits back down because he just can't get up to go to the restroom. And what was craziest about the entire situation is that not once did my heart rate elevate. I mean, I'm talking like as calm as I am now, was that calm then. And I was like, okay, we have to get this out of him. So I lurch him over, and I Heimlich him a little bit. And I start to but you don't have to do, the Heimlich is a very aggressive maneuver that can break people's ribs and shit like that. That's not necessary. You have to know how to finesse and push. Anyway, you have to know how to use physics. And I'm really good at this. So I work the liquid up. It's coming out of his nose and all that stuff. It's bad. At one point, I felt something not right. You know what I mean? I won't really say out loud what I felt, but I could see it. My uncle lost all of his faculties, okay? And it was amazing because when the EMTs get there, because I told her to call 911 at first. And once again, while all this is happening, I want you guys to understand how calm and cool I was about it. At first, I was like, just hold off on 911 real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because if I can get him to come to and get him right, I'll get him right. I'll nurse him back to health myself. I know what to do. But once again, there was this moment, y'all, where I'm telling you, I felt nothing. When I stopped, I swear to God, listen, the most I got, kill me right now. Kill me right now, Father God. I felt nothing. No heartbeat, no breathing, nothing. And he looked down, I swear to God. I don't know, I just worked the stuff up and it came up out of him that one last time. And he came back too. But I told you he lost all of his faculties. And he credits me right now for saving his life. But I don't really think I did anything special. I just kind of know what to do. It's like, it's really awkward. It's the same way I feel about this. I have to share that with you because like people don't know. Like I do things all the time. Nobody knows, and I'm quite sure if I'm not there, I'm pretty sure my uncle's done. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I watched my uncle Charles die when I was a little boy. I was 5 years old. Excuse me, 6 years old. and my cousin Babalu was trying to get into school. And it was my Uncle Charles and one, two, three, four, his five children, himself and his wife, inside of a little 2-bedroom duplex. Because my mother had okayed it, right on. It's the type of stuff I went through as a kid. Because she's so country, she grew up like that. And my dad, see, once again, there's so many different things that I can point to, even though they're acts of kindness. You hurt your own family when you do it, but it is what it is. But I'll never forget it. And when I think about it, the Most High God wanted him to be somewhere where people cared about him, because I think the Most High knew he was going to take him out, or he knew that the stress on his life was killing him. It's crazy. You know, when I say I watched my uncle have a massive heart attack as a little kid, I will never forget it. Never forget it. He was 36 years old, had a massive heart attack. Like 70% or something like that, 65 to 70% of his arteries were clogged, y'all. It was bad. That's the kind of rough living he had up by age 36. I don't know why I'm telling you guys all this stuff. I really don't. But I've seen a lot of things happen, you know, like, and that's just one instance. I mean, I could pinpoint a bunch of instances, things that I've seen. I couldn't do anything for my uncle then. I was able to save my uncle now. There's a lot of things I haven't been able to do for people, and I've been getting better at doing what I can for them. You know, I'm not perfect. I know I'm far from it. I'm extremely far from being perfect, but I will always do my best. I'm not worrisome anymore, you know, so much as I used to be when I was a child. When I was a child, I don't know why. As a little boy, and I used to be so worried about everything. I knew what rent was at like 5 years old, 4 years old. I understood that. I understood bills. It did not make sense to me as a little kid. It all made sense to me. So it took me a long time to really settle into like living on earth, because I've always been aware of things, you know, and people assume that children aren't aware. And that's one of the most insulting things you can do to a child. I normally assume they're aware until I see that they're not aware. And then that's when I coach them up. But it depends on the instance, because maybe they don't need coaching on that just yet. Maybe they need to remain unaware, and that's best that way. But anyhow, I just wanted to share a little piece of me once again, because I want people to know, like, I'm not just saying this stuff. You know, I live real life. You know what I mean? I live real life. I watch things happen all the time. You can only do so much for people. Sometimes people have to do for themselves. This man was asking me the other day, "Hey brother, can I get some change?" After I asked him, was he all right? Was he all good? Because he got a little change. So I gave him like $4. And you know, this dude didn't even tell me thank you. He thought I was about to, what? I had to give you 10, $20. What? I don't even know you, dude. I don't even know you. And for all I know, you would kill me. And you over here with your face screwed up because you see me remove other money. Right, I'm giving you this. This is what I'm giving you. I don't care about all that. Because if you cared about yourself, you wouldn't be in that position. And that's a fact. I don't give a damn what they say. These Hebrew Israelite dudes, it's coming for them this year. Don't worry. 2020 is their year. I got a good feeling. I got a really good feeling. You can only march around, barrage around, act a complete mother sucking fool for so long. And on top of all that, I told y'all red flagistan. See, there's a reason why I ain't been talking about red flagistan, because I've just been watching it build up and brew up. And you know, Meeks has been practicing a slow clap, because I don't know if I want to hit it with that, right? Or if I want to hit it with that, right? I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I'm gonna go cross hand or side hand, but I'm gonna figure it out, because I'm about this close to being able to slow clap on their ass, because they deserve it, and they know they do. You have a law that can effectively disarm a person who's never committed a crime, never even been accused of one. And yet, it's different for me. I've been charged with crimes, never been convicted. It's different. But for a person who's never done anything, I want you to think about that. They've been an upstanding member of society up until this point that they're being accused of. And now all of a sudden you can disarm them? Where do they do that at? Listen, you can't have a pistol in like Afghanistan, right? But you can own a rifle. You feel me? And the reason why they don't let you normally own small fire, because that's how you assassinate people with pistols, okay? Right on. It's easier to conceal. It's just, there's a reason why a pistol costs as much as a rifle does, or costs more than a rifle will sometimes. Because the ability for you to use it, and it can still kill somebody. Or it's still firing bullets. So that costs money. Man, I'm trying to break it down. I'll be on a good one. I just be trying to tell you guys, like, there's so much, you know. But the fact that it costs money means that, well, clearly it's not free, right? Clearly. But people don't realize that's why they charge so much money for all this stuff. It's because the ability to be lethal, right? And to not have your lethality shown, it's a big deal. It's an extremely huge deal. So the fact that they want to take your ability from you to defend yourself, to be lethal, if that be the case, now they want to act like you don't deserve to protect yourself. Tammy, sister, big sister, you could go outside right now, and I'm gonna give you this is a real life example. One of your neighbors could have a dog. That dog could excrement on your property. You pick the excrement up, put it in the bag, take it to the neighbor whose dog you know it is, because it might be the only neighbor in the whole neighborhood who has a dog, right? And the fact that they didn't pick this up is so disrespectful. You can assume it's because you're black. Let's just say it's because they're lazy. And you go and you got this bag of animal waste, and you say, hey, this dung belongs to your animal. And I would appreciate it if you didn't allow it to relieve itself in my yard. And they say something along the lines of, well, it goes where it goes. And then you say something along the lines of, well, this is my property, so I'll do with it as I see fit. Hold on. You say it with no attitude, no aggression, no sense of real force. You go home while you got a little bowl of popcorn that you done fresh popped up with the peanut oil right on, and slowly drip the butter on it and all that, and you're watching your little favorite movie, and you get a knock on the door, and then it's the police of your municipality, and you're like, what the hell do they want? And all of a sudden, you're being served with an ERPO, an extremist protection order, saying that any firearms you do have, right on, you have to surrender. And you won't be able to own one for the next 365 days. And when you go to court, the judge tells you that you need a mental health evaluation. Hold on, what? Come on now. And you're vehemently against this because you don't understand the merit of the situation that's being brought against you. However, you capitulate to all of these things. Now, let's say that harm comes to Sister Tammy, in this 365-day period. Who's responsible for that? That's the problem, sister. That's the problem. That's why I'm going to be able to slow clap on these stupid bastards. Because they're going to get somebody killed. They're going to get somebody killed. That's their plan. Excuse me. That's their plan. But they're going to get someone killed. I mean, murdered. Excuse me. Big difference between being killed and murdered. And they're going to be murdered. And no one wants to hear the logic of it because it's too much. Don't worry. This year, I'm so glad it's over. I'm so glad we got that 400. The 400 years of wrongly accounted for time out the way. Can you dig it? I'm glad that that's over with. I'm glad that it's over. It's done. It's done. Now I can just wait for the signs of the times. If you don't have a book of Enoch, I'd advise you to get one. And if you haven't, I would advise for you to read that book of astronomy and understand what months have what signs of the day and how much time of light and all those things. It's important, sister, that you realize and see like you're really in another month. It's not easy. You should really check it out. I want to say it's book 3. It's the astronomy book. You know, I don't know exactly what chapter exactly. I couldn't tell you. But wants to get in there for sure, for sure. That's the one. That is the one. I'm sitting here right now. I'm chilling. I'm gonna call my people. Let me see what they're doing. I may or may not go over there. I'm tired. You know what I mean? I'm just tired. It's been a long year for me, y'all. Long year. People don't even realize in the midst of working so many different jobs, I've still been laying out all the little work that I've done. Am I asking for a pat on the back? Of course not. Of course not. But let me ask you guys this. Would you be discouraged if you were trying your best or at least doing your best and people have the nerve to put titles on somebody? You know, like I love the titles though, because to me they're funny. You know, I personally, even though I know I'm not a scrub for real, you know what I mean? Like I don't look like one, I don't act like one. But like I call myself a scrub all the time. You know, it's just one of those things like you have to be able to humble yourself. You don't need the world to humble you, right on? You can do that yourself. And I think sometimes these dudes will excuse themselves from having to be humble. You know what I'm saying? And that's not cool because humility is the whole world, sister, the whole world. That's not, but that's neither here nor there. You know, that's neither here nor there. But it's just a title that they try to throw at, you know, it's funny when people want to. Let me throw something at you real quick, sister. The other day, I was sitting at home, not at home, I was at my dad's apartment, kicking it. And he calls it a brother that he grew up with. You know, my dad's older than the gentleman, but, you know, still probably like 51, 52, something like that. My dad's 57, right? And I'm not sure if you remember the Froghorn Leghorn skit where the little chicken hawk, you know, is like hunting for chickens, right? And Froghorn Leghorn dresses the dog up like a chicken, and the little chicken hawk says, "You're one funny looking chicken," right? Right? And my dad said that one of his friends they were watching something, and he said it, and it just took off, and he said, and the young man said at 51, 52, he says, yeah, at my job, you know, I call these guys funny looking chickens. He said to this day they use that stuff, and I laugh because it's a funny thing. But he spoke on my father's character as a person, and right, right. I knew you would, but but the man that spoke on, you know, like my dad was selling. It makes me sad, you know, because we fall so far from who we are, who we want to be, who we see ourselves becoming. And my dad was like, I wasn't always messed up. And it's like, I don't think my dad is so messed up as much it is that you just believe the wrong things. And if that makes you messed up, then sure. But I don't think he's messed up. You know what I'm saying? Because you function. You know what I mean? Like you live in the world, you know. But people speak good on my dad, especially guys who grew up with him. You know what I mean? Like who knew him when he was like, you know, younger dude. You know, he said, "Yeah, man." He said, He said, "Man." He said, "Man, I learned so much from you, man." He said, "You was like my big brother." He said, "You know that, you know," and these, you know, and these are old school Midwest cats. It's different. People don't understand. You know, like I'm a first generation Northwestern guy, West Coast guy. My parents are both respectively from the South. I don't really have the feel of a West Coast dude. People don't normally really think I'm from Washington. They always Washingtonians be like, "You from New York? You from Chicago?" I'd be like, "Wow, this is about a bitch. I just can't be from here, huh?" But it is what it is. Uh, and born and raised. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the crazy part. Born and raised here, and they have the audacity to assume that I'm from like way back east. However, I don't know if it's audacity or if they think it's. I don't know if it's them trying to be respectful. I couldn't really put a finger on it, but it's just weird to me that a guy who speaks clear, proper English in a state where they speak better English is overlooked as a person who's from the state. However, and I don't think I have. I don't talk like I listen to myself like that. I don't have an accent. I don't have an accent. I don't have no kind of accent. Like I don't get it. But uh since I'm not from here, since I wasn't born and raised here, I guess, right? Uh, they can say that. It's wild though. Um, listen, y'all, before you're ready to cut this out and cut it all short, because I really do love just chopping it up with people. It's one of my favorite things to do. Um, this year will be remembered as the greatest letdown for so many people going into next year. It's going to be the greatest letdown that they've ever lived through because there were so many black people like, yeah, woo, any day now, woo, right? Spending away their life savings and all kinds of nonsense. When in the scripture it says that you leave here with loot, so why would you give it all away? My attitude. Yeah, they say I have a. It's funny that you use the word attitude because they say I have a poor attitude all the time. You got a bad attitude, son. They all can't be wrong. I must be effed up in that category. It's okay. I'd rather have an attitude because I'm not giving no latitude to none of these chumps. Nope. Nope. You know, one of the It doesn't matter. Poor, non-conforming, it's all the same to them. They said the only people who don't want to give in are poor people. That's why they live under bridges. I'm sorry. That was inappropriate. That was so inappropriate, but it was so damn true. But they live under the bridge because they ain't giving in. They said, nah, bruh, this here ain't right. This whole thing ain't right. I'm not giving in. I'm not conforming. I'm sorry. I know that ain't right. I know. God forgive me. Or don't, because I might not need forgiveness for that. However, let me tell you this, sister, because I just don't really get to say these types of things as much as I'd like to. I only talk to the only person I only call a few people, really, 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 you know. And I don't bother you just because you're busy, you got important things to do. But I'll bother Andre, I'll bother Steve. He's funny because he says I'm like one of the few people who call him Steven. You know, he's funny. I don't know. I like Steve better. Steven is cool, but when I think of Steven, I just go back to my man's in the Bible getting stoned because of that dude Paul. I don't really care for all that. So yeah. Anyway. Oh, of course. I would hope not. I would hope not. Of course not. I would hope I'm not bothering nobody. I try not to. I try not to call too much, so I'm not bothering nobody. That's the thing. But I'm a Jones. I'm like that. I like my confidentiality and my privacy. So I don't mind giving anyone else theirs. It's a very important thing. It's a very, very important thing to give people their space and their time to themselves. That's deserved and that's respected all the way in my book. Um, what else? Before I shoot up out of here, what's coming this year that I should tell you guys about? Okay, California. I'm not gonna say it's about to get like stupid dumb, but I expect to see a little more aggressive tactics from the cartel in California. Much more aggressive. When I say aggressive, I mean, here's the thing. Black people can't have it both ways. You can't talk smack about the immigrants and then expect for them to fight the white man too. You see how the two mentalities don't marry up? This is why the immigrants don't really act stupid these days with you black people, because they understand they're never gonna accept us. But the immigrantes are like, yo, these niggas keep acting up because come that day, they'll be the enemy too. Already don't like you. I'm just throwing that out there. Why do you think I'm talking about immigration stuff? I tell them like I tell anybody else. If it was so popping where you come from, why'd you leave? Right. Bullshit. Thank you very much. Got nothing else to talk about with that. You see what I'm saying? Because that ends the conversation. They can't hold water to that. If it was so damn good where you come from, why did you leave? Because there's still people, listen, they talk all this shit about Mexican immigrants. There are dusty, crusty, poor bum ass niggas who ain't never left Mexico, ain't never tried to cross the border, have been poor their whole life in Mexico. What the fuck are you talking about? Right. And that's the type of shit I'm saying that these other niggas will never say. That's like how, sister. Okay? Let me tell you the real reason why the Mexicans let the Africans come up in there. Because they're trying to get black again. Come on, hear me now. What? You didn't hear me? The real reason they let those Africans come up in there. Come on. Because they want these Africans to breed, make a whole bunch of babies that they can breed with and get darker again and become black people again. That's their dream. That's the dream of all these motherfuckers. Every single one of these so-called nations on this planet, every single one of these Gentiles. That's why they do gene editing. If they can figure out gene editing, they can make their own black people. They can just make them in the womb. They don't need you. So I tell y'all, man, I know way more than I let on, man. When I say I know way more than I let on, I know way more than I let on. No, trying to get back to what they think they were. If Aboriginal people were black with curly hair, sister, right? They say, damn the Spanish, because the Spaniards are part black. Come on now, listen to me, sister. Hear me. You go to Spain right now, you find a whole bunch of Spanish with curly hair. This is the truth. That's not it. Nope. Trying to get back, sister. Can you dig it? The Gentile thing realizes its only way to salvation is being the people. But the Most High God said, I will make all things to breed the way I want them to, when I want them to do it, to create the bull again. Come on, stop it. They don't want to hear it, sister. They don't want to hear it. See, I can break it all down, but I don't have time to tell them how blood mixing works. I don't have time to tell them how I can grow a full beard. And my father's beard is the sideburn all the way down, and the full underbeard, all this, and just the sideburn. Right on? More like Morgan Freeman than me. But it's because my mother's father was obviously a fully bearded man. So when the blood mixture happens, right, obviously my father can already grow a beard, so I'm gonna grow a beard, and then whatever the additional facial hair structure that my father doesn't have is now given to me because my mother's father has a stronger beard constitution than my own father. Need to understand these types of things. I know this. I can look at it. I see it with my two eyes. I'm not retarded. I tell people this all the time. And my dad ain't got no James Harden beard, but he grows it. He can grow. My dad can competently grow a beard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't have it mistaken for anything else. But it's like, right. I know that my beard grows more full than his does. And I'm aware of why. Whether he would believe that or perceive it that way, I couldn't care less. See, I share so much with you guys that I be like realizing, like, if they don't believe me, man, they're assed out. They really are. Because if the Moabites look any kind of different than Israelites or the children of Israel, when Ruth married what's my man's name? Oh my goodness, it's not Booz. Who is it? Oh my god, what is my guy's name, man? Is it Boaz? Something like that. I don't feel like looking it up. Anyway, when Ruth, the Moabite, gets married into a soon-to-be Israelite clan, right? If the beard constitution of the face, whatever is different All these things have to marry up and become one. And there was another person before David was born who had a mother that wasn't an Israelite. So once again, these are the types of things where it's like you have to respect what I'm talking about. I think it is Boaz. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure. But the reason why I say what I say is because people talk all this smack to me, but I'm like, if you guys believe in genetics, the Most High God is the coldest geneticist that ever existed, that will ever be. Once again, I told people in the spiritual gumbo, genetics start with the plants. And then they didn't respect me. But tell me one time you seen a blueberry make an apple, nigga. Right. And want to tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's that shit right there. That's why I get vulgar. Because I can't believe it. I've never heard anybody ever reason it or reckon it the way that I reckon it. And cats don't even want to hear it. They're like, white Jesus is all I need. And I'm like, see, this is why I'm asked out. This is why I stay stuck like Chuck. Because I'm dealing with people who are half in and half out. And they don't really want to win. I'm not only trying to win, I'm going to win. Even if I die before that. I believe if I don't get what is owed and deserved to me, I'm going to get it. I will die and be resurrected, and it's going to come to me. And people are like, make your faces. If you think you can have heaven on earth, if you think you can beat the Most High God out, have at it. Be willing to deal with every single thing that comes with it. When you're still alive and well and young, see, and this is why being so defiant to the Most High God is so cool to these guys until they get 50 or 60, and then they get real brittle, then they get real soft in the heart, and then they start to realize, shouldn't have been like that. Let me tell you guys something. And then I'm really out of here. This is it. If George Carver never existed, I could argue that America would have died 100 years ago. I can quite confidently say that. The greatest American hero, I didn't expect people to actually watch the videos. Okay, I'm glad that they didn't. He is the greatest American hero that ever lived. He's possibly the greatest modern hero ever. This side of Noah, this side of Moses type stuff, this side of the Messiah. Can you dig it? George Carver he's going to heaven. Okay. He's punched his ticket to heaven. That man is everything as far as what you should look to be a leader. He is a true husbandman. He is everything that a person should be, a man should look to be. The plant doctor. Anyway, you get a full 45-degree angle. I salute you. I love you very much. And may you take it easy and have the best day that you could ever have, laughing at these chumps knowing that they don't reckon time properly.